What about the Saints?
Yeah, that's another one. Like they've sort of leaned on familiarity a little bit there. Um, like the snowstorm has affected some things. They're gonna have Anthony Weaver back in there. They're trying to get Mike McCarthy in over the weekend. This one sort of seems like it might be McCarthy to me. Um, McCarthy didn't initially McCarthy just took the trip to Chicago. I think McCarthy was a little bit more focused on the Chicago job. But just, with Mickey Loomis there and the roster being what it is and where it is right now, I I think after you strike out on Aaron Glenn, who I would say was probably their first choice, you look at it and you say, okay, like what can we do to sort of stabilize the franchise and get ourselves in a position where maybe we can win a little bit with the current core, but then we're going to be set up to move on from that core and rebuild. And Mike McCarthy's volume of experience, I think, really helps him there. He, of course, was there in Green Bay when they went from Brett Favre to Aaron Rodgers. He really had a huge hand in developing Aaron Rodgers. And so, if you're looking at a situation where you've got an older quarterback and you're looking to turn the page in a lot of spots in your roster, I think you do a lot worse than Mike McCarthy. So McCarthy makes a lot of sense to me. Here's the other thing. I just think perception of McCarthy is kind of screwed up. Um, Put his resume next to Mike Tomlin's. What's the difference?
Oh, I've said it before. I think we just have this when we see Mike McCarthy, it doesn't scream head coach. You look at
I think
Mike
it's optics.
Tomlin.
I agree with you. Like
Yes.
physical appearance,
Yes,
right?
absolutely. Sean Payton. Oh, he looks
Yeah.
like a head coach. Mike Tomlin looks like a head coach. John Harbaugh, head coach. Wait, who's that guy? I mean, Andy Reid fought through this,
Yeah.
where we looked at Andy Reid and you're like, that looks like the Kool-Aid guy. Like, he
Yeah.
doesn't look like a coach. And I think
Yeah.
McCarthy as well, the optics. But, I thought he was going to get a job, but I didn't know if it was going to be New Orleans. So that it feels like the game of
I mean, he
musical
was
chairs.
there. Here's the other thing is like he worked with Mickey Loomis for 5 years. And I do think like they wanted to be open-minded there. And look, I think Joe Brady is a good candidate there too. He's another one like where you look at him, he's got experience with the franchise and everything else. But I think our own personal experiences are always a factor, and I think Mickey wants to get this one right. He understands he's at the end of his career, and he's got a group of players that like he'd like to try to make at least maybe one more run with them before completely resetting. And I think McCarthy gives him the opportunity to do that as a guy that he worked with again for 5 years at the start of his time in New Orleans.